Hi, cuties. One cute little recipe. Guess what we're gonna make? Shakshuka. Okay, everybody who already knows what that is like, yeah. Yes. Okay, this is technically a breakfast, but it's so hearty. It is so filling. It's like a classic breakfast for dinner choice. Shakshuka was probably originally it was kind of originated in North Africa and then sort of traveled around the Middle East, and it finally made its way to us so we could finally enjoy it. And it's something like if like a peppery tomato sauce got married and had babies with eggs over easy. And then the metaphor's breaking down here because I can't figure out how to make it work. But then what you do is that you eat the married couple and their baby with bread. So I'm sorry, I didn't think it through all the way. So this is not unlike making a marinara. It's just the spices are warmer. The spices are a little bit more Middle Eastern. They're a little bit deeper. And so here we're gonna turn on a little, you need an oven safe skillet. Cast iron is awesome here. And that's essentially what this is. This is this beautiful, I keep showing you this, my Staub cookware with that beautiful like color, whatever. So I'm gonna start this over here with a little bit of olive oil. I'm gonna warm that up, and we are going to throw in 1 red bell pepper and 1 onion. Let me chop these up for you real quick. Okay. All right. Onions and peppers are the start of a million good things. Let's get these guys over into our olive oil with the handy dandy food taxi. That's what Sur La Table calls theirs, and so that's what I call mine now. I think it might be called a food scraper. But because my prep space is not on the same side of the kitchen as my stovetop. I literally use mine constantly, exactly like you're watching me do. All my stuff over here. All right. Oh, you're gonna love this. If you don't already know what this is, get excited. I'm gonna bring you over here so you can see it, okay? Okay. To our onions and peppers. I'm gonna add some salt. We are gonna add some pepper. Pepper, pepper, more pepper. I told you it was a peppery sauce. So, I want to get this all sort of mixed in. Now, this is our base of the sauce. This is going to flavor it up so good. But for me, in this particular dish, okay, I have two things to tell you right now, and they're competing. That's why I got quiet. Both the things in my head were like, pick me, pick me. And so here's what I'm going to say first. I don't like my onions and peppers crunchy in this sauce. So I will probably cook these down for like 10 or 15 minutes. I like them really soft and I like them a little caramely, actually. So that was the first thing that I wanted to tell you. What's the second thing I was going to tell you? Oh, I just remembered. Okay. Some of you have been like around me for some time, and you may remember that I went to what I called food camp in Chicago a handful of years ago. This was probably like 5 or 6 years ago. And it was at a place called the Chopping Block in downtown Chicago. And it was essentially a 40-hour-week cooking school. It was called like Food Boot Camp and or something like that. And so it's what I asked for Christmas. So I went to Chicago by myself for an entire week and stayed right around the corner. And I cooked for 40 hours, but there was maybe like 8 of us in our class. Now, one thing that I learned, and so now I'm gonna pass this information off to you, because that's how this works, is that I stir my food entirely too much. I did not know that. Lisa, who was our primary instructor, Chef Lisa, kept coming around and she'd be like, stop stirring your food. I'm like, but I'm cooking the food and that's how you cook food is you stir it. She's like, no, that's how you just keep moving food around and it never cooks. And I'm like, well, what do you know? You just have a couple of culinary degrees. So she's like, get it all mixed up, get it all seasoned, and then let it sit on the pan and let it get brown. Please let it cook and please put your spoon down. Well, I'll just tell you that was challenging instruction for me. So what I'm gonna do, my point is, because I honor Chef Lisa and her culinary prowess, I am gonna crank the heat on this a little bit, because I don't have time to stand here forever. I'm gonna let it cook until it's how I like it. And I don't really know what to say about that. It's just until I do. I know when I smell it, and it's starting to brown just a little bit. That's how I like my vegetables. Some people probably want them a little bit more al dente like this, a little crunchier, but guess what? This isn't their kitchen, is it? So, we're gonna let these brown up the way I like them, and then we are gonna spice them up in a way that's gonna thrill you. Okay, back in a sec. All right, let's go. I gave this a good solid 10 minutes. Can you kind of see it? It's like everything's getting some brown on it. So this is like a little bit north of translucent, like if that's how you want to think about your onions getting cooked, and south of super caramelized. Okay, that's how I like it. And the way that I can tell is because I like the way it smells. It smells cooked, and I want them cooked. Now, let's go. It's flavor time. So here's what we're going to add. This is where all of this like sort of North African, Middle Eastern like flair comes in. We are going to add, I'm doing this for you, of course, this measuring that you see me, you know I don't do this in real life. But Here's my cookbook right here. This is the shakshuka recipe, which I have open because I don't remember everything. I'm not a memory savant. Can't remember the order of every single recipe in the whole world. So we're gonna do a teaspoon, oh yum, of paprika, a teaspoon of chili powder. Oh, I love all these flavors. A teaspoon of cumin. These are heaping teaspoons at best. And you know what I called for? I called for half a teaspoon of cayenne, but you know, I like to live dangerously. Why should it get a worse shake than its little sisters over here? And then we're gonna add in some fresh chopped garlic. Again, what I called for here was 3 garlic cloves, and what I chopped was 6. This is what I'm just trying to always tell you. Recipes are flexible, even if you're the one who wrote them. And then you're still like, I just turn this heat down a little bit because I do not want to burn this delicious garlic. Oh my. The second all these spices hit this oil and start toasting up, oh my gosh, it smells so good. You only want to give this just maybe a minute. Garlic burns fast. Learned that the hard way. There's no coming back from burnt garlic, I'll tell you that right now. So we're just gonna get all of these veggies super, super coated in all these yummy spices. We're gonna get that garlic just not raw. Oh, this smells so good. Okay, and then what we're gonna do, we are going to add 1 can of crushed tomatoes. Now, I am very much on record as saying that Muir Glen is my favorite brand, and it is. And because I was in the mood, I decided to go with fire roasted crushed today. But I really do like crushed in this. I like the texture of it. It's not chunky tomatoes, and it's not like a perfect like tomato sauce puree. It's something in between. Oh, baby. Oh my. Now, I did admit this in the cookbook, so don't say that I didn't say it. This is not a traditional ingredient, but I like to add, I don't know how much, like a couple of teaspoons or a tablespoon or just whatever of sugar. I just do. Canned tomatoes of any kind are just a little bit acidic, and the sugar is just a balance. This doesn't even remotely make your sauce sweet. It just gives it a flavor balance that I like. So I understand that in all the shakshuka recipes that I studied and emulated and copied and used some of this and some of that one, none of them had sugar in the ingredient list, but mine does, just a little. We're not gonna panic over 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now, here is what is always true about look at this. I mean, are you kidding me with this? Come on. What is always true about a tomato sauce like this, whether you're doing like a marinara or whatever it is, it needs to simmer. It just does. That's how it gets good, and there's no shortcut. Sorry to tell you, you cannot pour this in and go, well, look, it smells good and it looks pretty, let's eat it. You'll be sorry. You'll be sorry. You will regret that choice. The longer this simmers, it thickens up and it just gets better. It just does. All the flavors kind of come together and it cooks out some of that acidic canned leftover taste, and it just delicious. So what you're gonna do in a very patient way over medium-low heat, we don't want the splattering all over the place, is we're just gonna simmer this. Now, however long you got. Do you have 20 minutes? I'd like you to give it 20 minutes, okay? If you need more time, turn your heat down to low, and go about your business, okay? This is a flexible step. But I'm gonna keep mine on medium-low. I'm gonna let it simmer for about 20 minutes, and then, I mean, I don't wanna give it away, but can you see, where we're going here? Oh, by the way, this is the moment to turn your oven onto 375, okay? While your sauce starts simmering, preheat your oven to 375 because we finished this beautiful dish in the oven. Guess what else is about to make an appearance? Sourdough. You love it and so do I. But we'll get to this. We'll get to this delicious bakery bread in a minute. I'm gonna let this simmer. Be back with you in a minute. All right, campers, get excited. It's been about 20 minutes, and this has just gotten thicker. Like, just, it's cooked down, and this is the moment to taste, okay? Not in the first 5 minutes, but in the last 5. So let me give this, let me see where we're at. When it tastes like really cooked through and rich and not at all like too acidic, that's when you're there. So your oven, it may be different from mine. You might need 25 minutes, you might need 17. It just, every kitchen's different. Let's see. So special about this is like cayenne, cumin, chili powder, paprika, like those flavors just take this over the top. This is so, I'm gonna add a pinch more salt. And this is cook's prerogative, as it will be for you. However, you know what? Let's just, while we're here. Okay, so I'm gonna get this stirred up. I've turned the heat down to super low. Okay, oh, yummy. Well, first of all, this is enough. If all you did was dunk your bread into this and told your family it was dinner, you're still a hero, ma'am. Okay, but look what we're gonna do now. Let me just make sure that I got it right. Hold on. Absolutely tasting is how I became a better cook. Taste constantly. Ugh. You know what else I like that I did? Doubled my garlic. What? Okay. Now, here's what we're gonna do. I've got eggs. I'm gonna make a little well. I'm gonna make 6 of them. And right in the well, I am gonna crack this egg. Oops, I didn't make my well big enough. It's fine. Let me turn the heat up just a hair. And then I'm gonna do one over here. Oh, yes. All right, let me get all these in there, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do. Okay. This is so fun. This is the fun part of shakshuka. I'm just gonna give a little sprinkle here of salt on each egg since they are in a delicious seasoned sauce, but they are not seasoned. Okay, and a little crack of this. Every layer always gets seasoned. Now, Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sprinkle on some crumbled goat cheese. You can also use feta if you prefer. I've used both and I love both. What, is this a real problem? Is the problem of our day, do we use goat cheese or feta cheese? Well, guess what? You're having a pretty good damn Tuesday, okay? This is not a real problem. So this is just however much you want. I don't know. Might do this whole container. I'm not sure. Anything can happen right now. So I'm gonna get this all on. Oh, this adds, between the eggs and the cheese, this adds such like creaminess and like a little bit more richness to this really sharp, tangy sauce. The flavor combination here is unbeatable. Okay. Why am I just not dumping this whole thing? Why am I acting like I have restraint? It's because you're watching. Okay, I feel like this is good. Look, for no good reason, this is how, okay, hell, fine. Fine. Let's just do it. This is like a 4-ounce container. What am I worried about? Good night. Okay. Hello, pretty. Now what we're gonna do, hold on. We're gonna take this beautiful pan of deliciousness and we're gonna slide it into this 375-degree oven until these eggs are just set. Now we still want these delicious yellow yolks, so look like this. But we don't want clear egg whites, right? That's not what we're doing here. So we want to get these eggs just set, get the egg whites cooked through until they are opaque, excuse me, opaque. And then we're gonna eat this delicious pot of goodness with that toasted sourdough bread and cilantro, of course, and hot sauce. Here we go. Carefully slide this in. And just keep an eye on that. Depends on your oven. It's probably between 6 and 8 minutes. But when the eggs look the way you want them, when the white's the white you want them, and the yellow's the yellow that you want them, and they're just at the jiggly stage that you like it, then it's done, okay? Come back in 6 to 8 minutes. Get excited. Ready for this? I'm gonna put it over here because you can see it better. The light is better. Oh, baby. Come to me. Look at this. I threw in just a couple of little pieces of sourdough for dunking. This is, I don't know if you can tell. Now, what you're gonna do, and also all this goat cheese has gotten real soft. It's melting into the sauce. Cilantro for days. This whole controversy about cilantro, I swear to the Lord, I will just never get it. I want to take baths in cilantro every night of my life. Look at her. She is a beauty. Isn't this a beautiful, beautiful dish? So again, technically, this is a breakfast dish, but you can see that it is so hearty that it is an awesome breakfast for dinner choice. So normally you would maybe drink this with coffee, but because it's dinner time for me right now in the state of Texas, I'm going to have it with a crisp, cold glass of Viognier, okay? Nobody tells me how to live. So what we're gonna do, everybody gets their own egg, obvi. You get in under there, oh, come to me. Oh my gosh, yes. Do not skimp on all this delicious sauce. That's literally what we're doing here. Okay, we're gonna cheese it up, sauce it up. Now, I like this with hot sauce. Cholula, of course. Is there another brand? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know of it. Just a little splashy splash. Okay. Get your little crunchy bread, any bread, French bread, all bread's good bread. And we're gonna get in here. Oh, it's like a delicious, oh my God. Can you see this? Like jammy, over, like medium. Okay, let's just get in here. Obviously, let's get some sauce on a bread, golly. Okay. Tomatoey, peppery, oniony, garlicky, creamy, eggy, cheesy, crunchy. I'm so happy I don't even know what to say. Oh my gosh. More cilantro. Oh. It's just delicious. Oh, please have this with the white bread. One skillet. I don't know if you noticed, it's vegetarian. Tricked ya. Fooled ya. Never miss it. Never miss a bite of meat in this. It's so hearty. So, it's all in here, guys. I wrote it for you. I wrote that whole recipe for you. I wrote a bunch of recipes for you, and a bunch of stories, and a bunch of nonsense, and a bunch of curse words. So, there's a lot going on in this book. Comes out October 18th. It's really soon. I feel really in my feelings about that. But how I really feel right this second is like I'm in heaven. I am in shakshuka heaven. Make this for your little family. The egg and the goat cheese. This recipe is like undefeated. Thank you, North Africa. Thank you, Middle East. Thank you for bringing us this deliciousness. Cheers to you. Okay? If I can make this, you can make this. Okay? This is a real piece of cake right here. The hardest thing I did was chop an onion. That's it. Can you chop an onion? You can make this. Okay, feed these people. Come and get it.